Good afternoon, welcome to Berwick Mitsubishi. I'm Mark and I'm going to take you for a walk around our 2010 Ford Territory Ghia all-wheel drive turbo wagon this afternoon. Start at the front of the vehicle and we'll just run through a few of the additional things the car has on it. You notice the factory fog lights down the bottom, just a bit of chrome trim running through the grille, and of course the big large bonnet scoop for the air intake at the front there. Just a few very minor little touch-ups across the front of the bonnet on the car. I mean, being a black colour vehicle, obviously any marks will show up, but as we walk around the exterior of the car, you're going to be really impressed with its condition. Notice it does have factory 18-inch alloy wheels, and you'll also note nearly 100% tread on those tyres, so the tyres are basically near new. We do have the indicators in our external mirrors as well on this model. The side steps come standard, being the Ghia as well. As I mentioned, with the Juco coming down the right hand side of the car, you'll notice it's virtually unmarked. So for a 2010 model, and especially in black, it's been really well maintained. Do notice all through the rear windows, second row and rear of the wagon, very dark tinted windows. A lot to like about this car, super popular because it is black on black, and 7-seat option. Coming around the rear to the tailgate now, once again, bit of chrome trimming across the tailgate. We do have factory reverse sensors fitted, colour coded, so not very noticeable, but they are there. And then that beautiful grey garnish just running down the bottom of the rear bumper bar, twin chrome exhaust pipe as well. As we move around down the left-hand side, you can't be anything but impressed once again with the state of the Juco. You know, virtually unmarked. If I want to be critical on this side of the car, we've got a couple of minor scuff marks on our alloy wheels. And once again, as we mentioned earlier, virtually brand new tyres. So overall, and you know, you can be really critical with a black car because it's going to show up any scratches and marks more so than any other car, but this presents really well. Okay, now we move under the bonnet of the Territory, and a lot to get excited about here actually. Here we have the beautiful power plant of the Turbo Territory, 4 litre turbo motor, and it's going to deliver you some super performance, 245 kilowatts and 480 Newton meters of torques. So yeah, that's super performance. And having said that, even though that's you know, that's super performance, you're still going to get actually 14.2 litres combined per 100 k's, and on highway driving you're going to actually drop right back to 10.6 litres per 100 k's. So still with your driving, you'll get in excess of 500 kilometres to a tank of fuel, and you've got the power and the torque to go with it. Yeah, nice power plant. So ideal family car, 7-seater. The Territory is one of the only cars that has the actual width to fit 3 baby seats across the second row seats. And then also in our third row seats here, you'll notice you do still have a bit of leg room. At the moment, we've got our second row seats all the way back as far as they'll go. So we'll touch on the flexibility on those shortly, because there aren't a lot of SUVs that do have the forward and back movement in the middle row seats. As you can see, our third row set up at the moment. Really simple for us to drop these seats down if we need to. Important to also note the Territory is one of the cars that does have anchor points in the third row. Don't be confused by people telling you a lot of the SUVs do have third row anchors, because not many cars do. If we want to drop the third row seats down, really simple operation. We just push on these 2 release levers, and that allows us to slide the base of the seat back into that position there. So we're pretty much done with that. We drop that little cover down there, and then it's just a matter of releasing the third row by this lever in the middle, and that will drop down. It won't allow me to drop it all the way down at the moment because, as I mentioned, the second row seats are a fair way back. But now that I've touched on that, we will come around to this side door, and it's just a simple matter of releasing the lever at the front of the second row seats to move them forward like so. Obviously, once again, the first row seats as well are as far back as they can go. So just to give you an idea, we just move those forward, and we'll pop back around to the rear of the car now, just to show you how it turns into really large storage space. So as you can see, We've gone from a 7-seater back to 5 and plenty of cargo area in the back. Now that that's down in the flat position, I just come back to the second row, push them back into position, so we've just created more room for ourselves. A really versatile vehicle for the family, this car. So last thing, while we're at the rear of the car, we just bring the tailgate back down into the closed position. As you can see, really easy tailgate to operate. Also, you can open the rear window separately. We have our buttons on each side, door on the left, glass door on the right. Simple matter of pressing that button, releases the rear window. So you've also got the option of just putting in your cargo that way as well. So as I mentioned, once again, a lot to like about the way this car was designed and set up. Now we move to the interior of the Territory, and we'll run through a lot of the features this car has to offer. I'm going to start off by just illustrating your power window switches are just on your driver's armrest here. And then right up on the top of your door, we do have our little knob for our outer mirrors, external mirrors, electric as well. You will note that the steering wheel is tilt and reach adjustable, so we can set ourselves up exactly how we want to be. Leather wrapped as well, really nice. Whilst we have what we've got indicated on the dash at the moment, really important to note, that's a really big highlight. 53,000 kilometres. 2010 model, and it's only done 53,000 Ks. This car's not even run in. When we also move to the steering wheel, you do notice it's multi-function. We've got all our controls for our cruise control on our right hand side, all of our audio controls here as well. No need to take your eyes off the road. We just control our volume by the buttons there, change stations as required. Once again, focus can be on the road and being safe. Moving into our center console section here, and you notice we've got a multifunction display screen. It gives us range to empty, time of the day, still on daylight savings time, dual zone air conditioning, and it indicates outside temperature where we've got the air conditioning running. We're at about fan speed 3 of 10 at the moment. Obviously you can't even hear it running in the car. With the Territory Ghia, we do have premium sound, 6-stack in-dash CD player, and the sound system, fantastic. As I mentioned, with the dual zone, all of our controls here, so you can actually just set it for the exact temperature that you require. A few other buttons here. We've got traction control, a manual button turn on and off. We can manually lock and unlock the doors by that button. Also have a button for interior lights, and this is our trip button just for resetting up on the dashboard when required. Important to note as well, in the Ghia, 6-speed automatic, so we can drive it just as a normal auto, running down into drive, or we can flick it across into sports mode and just change gears accordingly by the stick. It will appear what gear you're engaged in up on the dashboard as well. And then we'll just pop it back into reverse, just to show you how accurate the reverse camera is. Really good picture of what you have behind you there. And we'll give you audible warnings, not audible warnings in writing, just to tell you to check exactly your surroundings as you're reversing. Next thing we'll move on to, being the Territory and being the Ghia, as I mentioned, leather steering wheel, full leather interior. So we've got leather running through our door trims, we've got leather seats. We've got leather seats front row, second row, third row. So it's just, yeah, it's like sitting in your lounge room actually. I'm quite comfy in this seat. One thing about the driver's seat as well that I'm sitting in, it is fully electric. So the driver doesn't need to do a lot, just move yourself around and into position just by the use of a little sliding toggle switch on the side of the seat. Other really important thing, being a true 7-seater family car, is the safety factor. We've got all our airbags in this car. We've got front, we've got side, we've got curtain airbags. This helps the car achieve its 5-star ANCAP safety rating. So you can be really comfortable that the entire family or every occupant in this vehicle is really well protected. Last thing to touch on whilst we're on the inside of the car in the driving control section is just going back to the fact it's only done 53,000 Ks. The other thing that backs this car up and makes it probably one of the most attractive examples of this car is the service history. Every single service stamped at the correct intervals from new. So we know that the car has been maintained perfectly. Safety, reliability, this car's really going to look after you and the family. Last thing to touch on, just in our second row seats there, you'll see on the actual video now, we've got our DVD player in the operating position. I left my DVDs at home today, so I can't actually show you it in operation, but it's a really good, accurate screen. Fantastic accessory to have in the car when you're taking the kids on a long trip. Just whack the DVD in and just listen to the golden silence. You just wouldn't have it any other way. So just in summary, guys, a few things I want to touch on, really important. We were having a little bit of a joke earlier. 245 kilowatts of output, 480 Newton meters of torque. That's a lot of performance in this car. True 7-seater, the right width for 3 baby seats across the middle. 5-star ANCAP safety rating, all airbags, front side curtain airbags, has travelled no mileage, 53,000 kilometres. Both factory keys. Everything about this example of a Ford Territory Ghia is right. If you've got any further questions, feel free to give us a call, 9907 0555. Hope this gives you a really great idea of the quality of our car.